What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to the Extreme Rules prediction stream. As always, I've been doing prediction shows on here, and they've been so much fun. So I'm keeping the ball rolling. And this month's guest is none other than TalkSPORT Wrestling Daily's very own Alex McCarthy. What's up, Alex?
Denise, thank you so much for the invite. That makes me very happy to get a DM requesting my presence on your channel. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I feel like you're one of the nicest persons in wrestling media, and I've had such a good time doing shows with you. We've done prediction shows before, I believe. I'm pretty sure we have. And so I remember having a good time, and I was like, all right, Extreme Rules is coming up. I need a guest. I'm going to go with Alex McCarthy. Let's do this.
That's right. I believe you know what? I think I'm coming on with you and Luke in the next few weeks as it goes. So like this is just gonna keep rolling, Denise, right?
There you go. That is awesome. We're just gonna get the ball rolling. Well, for everyone tuning in here today, we are gonna be doing Extreme Rules predictions. We got quite a bit of matches to get into. As we go through them, we're gonna be talking about what we think about the build up to the stories. We're gonna be sharing who we think should win, who we want to win, how they're probably gonna go about things. As a reminder, Extreme Rules is this Sunday, so it is going to be interesting how the show plays out. But before we get to that, I do want to let you guys all know to make sure to take part in the chat. I will be reading your thoughts, your comments, your opinions as we go throughout the show. So if you want your voice to be heard, feel free to take part in the chat. Also, Alex, I've been looking at your Twitter feed and you've had a busy past couple of days. You were doing the UK media tour. I saw that you had plenty of interviews. Tell us a little bit about what went down, who you spoke to, how all of that went, and maybe some interesting tidbits.
Sure. Yeah, it was very cool. So WWE came through the UK for the first time in nearly 2 years this past weekend, coming into this week. So I believe it started in Newcastle on Sunday, and then it came through to London, which is where I am, of course, on Monday. And I believe they did Cardiff and Glasgow before flying home. So yeah, Drew obviously got his homecoming in Glasgow last night and all of that good stuff. But I was there at the O2 on Monday. So many good people, man, to see. Like Simon Miller was in the house, which I hadn't actually met in the flesh before Monday, so that was very cool. Lots of interesting kind of wrestling personalities. I had even Steph Chase, right? Like we're co-presenters, but I hadn't seen her in the flesh in like 2 years. So it was just so cool. Not that I was so jealous when you guys were like doing all out and stuff. You're like, oh, look at us journos having a great time. I thought, oh man. But that was very cool. So on Monday during the day, close to the arena, I went to the hotel where the superstars were staying, and it was like me. Louis Dangoor was also there. A couple of others that you guys might know, like Ash Rose, for instance, and a few others. And yeah, Becky Lynch was in the house. First time I've seen big time Bex, so that was cool. Well, first time I've seen her in this iteration anyway. The Street Profits came through with Bianca as well. The Mysterios did it as a pair. Happy Corbin was in the house. I think that was it. I think it was. No, and Drew. Drew. How dare I? Drew was there as well. So, man, it was like a full afternoon, like 3 or 4 hours where like press conference style. And it was just so cool. Like, you only got to ask them maybe 2 or 3 questions. But, I dove into Becky Lynch. And I know a lot of people have seen this on Twitter because I've put the article out now and stuff. And the videos with Inside the Ropes, as will be a lot of these interviews. If you want to catch them, they're only a few minutes long, so won't take you long. But Becky was just saying, much to my dismay, that her versus Bayley was discussed for Mania, which I find... I know. I find it super interesting, Denise, because I'm sure you were like me, WrestleMania week, going, what the hell is going on with Bayley? Like, how doesn't she have a match? And then ultimately we saw this weird... the Bellas beat her down thing, which the crowd weren't even really into.
Very random on the show.
Yeah, like I felt like that was plugged in late. And now we know that, Becky said she was ready, but WWE decided not to do it. How do they decide not to do that, Denise?
You know what? In a way, I kind of think in a strange way, it all ended up working out, because I feel like we really needed that Becky Lynch appearance at SummerSlam, especially like being there and everything that went down. I'm not saying I agree with the way that they had her pin Bianca Belair and all of that, but I did think that her appearance was needed on SummerSlam, period. But we're going to get into that. But that sounds really cool. I'm sure it must have been very excited to like actually be at a press event, because for you guys, I mean, I feel like, people here in the United States have been getting absolutely spoiled. We had SummerSlam, we had, All Out. Sorry, Alex, we had a lot going on. And I know that those of you overseas did not have those same opportunities.
No. Although from November, apparently we can get back out there now. The restrictions have been lifted, so I'm looking at Full Gear and Survivor Series. Like, please.
You're like mouth watering.
Oh my god! And I'm trying to get to the UFC show in Madison Square Garden, which I think is the 6th as well. So like, as soon as it opened up, I was just like sending email upon email to my boss, like, "Come on, let's get out there." But no, I was so jealous of what you guys are doing, but it was awesome to get these interviews again, because I've only really done in the flesh NXT UK stuff since then. So yeah, to get people of this caliber, Denise, it was great. It was great.
Amazing. So we're going to go ahead and hop into predictions now, but I do want to get this really awesome comment read from Matthew McCarthy, who says, Denise, got to stop spoiling us with these insane duos. Alex is the GOAT. I've been pulling out the all my tricks out of, the bag, and I've been literally bringing on some very great guests on here. So congratulations, Alex. You're now added to the list of great guests.
I mean, Hollywood Salcedo, she's got connections. We know this. But speaking of that, by the way, Matthew, he's been on my channel a few times. I've seen him in the comments. Good guy. Good guy.
Yes. All right, let's get into this. So here we go. We're going to go through the matches, and we don't got very many to talk about. We actually got 6 matches to talk about. I forgot what show I did where I only had 4 matches to talk about. So this is not too bad. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. The first match that we're going to go ahead and discuss is Liv Morgan versus Carmella. Alex, what are your thoughts heading into this actual match, and who do you think should win?
I mean, listen, it has to be Liv Morgan as the winner. Like, to me, this all should be kind of the crescendo of this story, as it were, should all be about Liv Morgan getting to a more prominent spot, being more utilized on TV. I was dumbfounded coming out of Money in the Bank, where they had spent a couple of weeks actually giving her a story and fighting her way into the match. And she was warmly received in that match by the crowd, by the way. Then she wasn't on TV for like 2 or 3 weeks. I'm like, come on, man. Like, you can't keep pulling the rug. There clearly is something there with the fans. I like Carmella and stuff, but I feel like her and Zelina were, the kind of role that they've been put in now, it's difficult for them. Like, what would a win really do here for Carmella? A win would do a lot for Liv Morgan and the ascension going on there. And I know Liv Morgan's got Zelina on SmackDown as well. So imagine that. Like, she'll have a couple of days with 2 big wins, and then she can move on to bigger things potentially. I think it's a no-brainer. You have to be pushing Liv Morgan forward.
I completely agree with you. And I also had the exact same thoughts heading into Money in the Bank, where I thought, oh my God, they're finally doing something with Liv Morgan. She had that whole thing with like Sonya, who was being very unfair to her. And she was going out there. She was proving herself every week. And then, like you mentioned, at Money in the Bank, the people wanted to see Liv Morgan win. I think more people wanted to see Liv Morgan win than even Nikki ASH. So that was pretty, obviously we know which direction they ended up going in and why they chose to go that direction. But I almost keep feeling like Liv Morgan is always almost at the precipice of doing something, and then they kind of like push her aside. So I feel that this match should really be the moment, the game changer for Liv Morgan, so to be, where they finally start actually doing something with her. And this is the thing that I feel like you were trying to get at, is that with Carmella, she doesn't need this win whatsoever, because I almost feel she's somebody that's sort of already slotted on the roster, where you already know what you're going to get from Carmella. And that's not, nothing negative. It's just that when you compare her right now to Liv Morgan is sort of that person where you're like, okay, we're almost unwrapping the gift. Let's, see what it is. Let's see what there is here. It seems like there is just like, she's like waiting to like burst out into the scene, versus Carmella. It's kind of like, okay, we've already, kind of been there with her. We haven't seen yet what Liv Morgan has had to offer. I do think if they do not have Liv Morgan win this match, I don't know. Like, they gotta have her win this match. They gotta start doing something with her.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because I can't even think of a pay-per-view singles victory that Liv Morgan's got in her career. Can you, off the top of your head?
Jesus, no.
No. Right? That tells you where we are. Whereas Carmella's had title runs, like she's beat Oscar and people like that on pay-per-view. She has that level of credibility in a way from her accomplishments that would make this a statement win for Liv Morgan. It would, perception-wise, move her up the card to not, give dated terms and things like that. It would mean a lot. And I do feel like, especially, I'm not mad that Nikki Ash won Money in the Bank. Like that was fine. But I do think that in terms of upside and what the match can do to make people, and given what the fans were asking for, like I almost feel like Liv Morgan was the opposite of Big E. You know what I mean? Like the woman parallel, where the fans were ready for it. Right? And we've got it with Big E, and I am still just loving every second of it. But with Liv Morgan, I still think her time is coming. And here's another interesting thing. You watched the WWE Network documentary, Liv Morgan,
Chronicle
right?
one. Yeah, I did watch that one where Paul Heyman was basically talking about how they had ideas for her and then it didn't work out. And then her essentially getting like, she thought that, I felt bad because there was a moment where she said that she thought them not putting her on screen because they were saving her for something was she saw it as a positive.
Yeah, exactly. And you think, I mean, I don't want to call anyone naive here, but at the same time, it's like, I think WWE almost inadvertently created even more fandom for Liv Morgan, because how can you not watch that and feel sorry for her? Like she is like so dedicated and she's there all the time and she's improving, she's working hard. You just have to take one look at Natalia and her social media to see how often Liv Morgan is working on her days off to get better. She's got the look and the personality, she's got all that great stuff, and time again she's kind of just lost in the shuffle in WWE. And that documentary, if you haven't seen it, that will literally highlight for you times 1,000. So I'm rooting for Liv Morgan. Up.
And I have to say though, like in that moment where she said that her essentially getting taken off and her thinking that they were saving her for something special, I don't blame her on that whatsoever. If I was in that same situation, I probably would have had the same thoughts as she did. So it's one of those things where I'm just like, oh, come on, I'm really rooting for you, Liv. And based on every comment that we're getting here, everybody here wants to see Liv Morgan win. I mean, there's not one person on here that I'm seeing right now that does not want to see Liv take the win here. So really good stuff here. Really good stuff. All right, so here we go. Let's go ahead and move on to the next match. Let's go ahead and talk about this one here. SmackDown Tag Team Champions, the Usos versus the Street Profits. Do you actually think that we're going to get some sort of title change here, Alex?
Oh, sorry. Am I back here or what?
Oh, yeah, I was hiding you.
Oh, I was about to say, I was like, hey, what happened there? And then the Street Profits, I was like, oh, Jesus.
I tend to like, I'll pop up in the graphic and then I give it like a couple of seconds and then like I remove it. It's my thing. I don't know why.
I don't know why. My screen froze for like a second. I was like, oh no. Anyway, I hear you. Usos and Street Profits. This is one of those, Denise, where I'm like, I can't lose because I love both of them so very much. The only thing that leads me to believe the Usos retain is just the Bloodline storyline is so strong. And part and parcel of that is that the Bloodline hold all the gold, right? They are the top of the food chain right now. Part of me doesn't want to see the Usos get dressed down by Roman again. I want Roman to love his cousins. And yeah, they've had enough dressing down for 2021. I think it's going to be a really fun, energetic match. I'm really looking forward to it. I just am not sure that it would be the right time to take the tag titles off the Usos. I mean, if the Mysterios can't do it, who you would argue had more story-based motive and incentive and, more fun things that can come out of the father and son dynamic, I'm just not sure what the Street Profits would do. But again, it's another really fun matchup. And yeah, again, do you know what? And I look at the Extreme Rules card as well. Stipulation-wise, Denise,
there's really no stipulations at all.
Is
I even double-checked. I'm on the WWE website, okay? And I even scoured through them and I was like, okay, did I miss something? Like, where are the stipulations? It's Extreme Rules, but there are not any stipulations just yet. I mean, they do have, tomorrow night to add to, at least maybe the SmackDown ones. They could utilize maybe social media to add some for the Raw side of things. I don't know. But they definitely, it's not really Extreme Rules.
Because it's only Roman and Finn, I think, that is an Extreme Rules match.
Right.
Whether they're just going, like the other sort of titular pay-per-views. Like Hell in a Cell, they just have a few Hell in a Cell matches. Maybe they're stripping it back and just the main
But see,
matches.
that's different though, because Hell in a Cell is like such a grand, like they've already burnt out the stipulation for Hell in a Cell where it kind of doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, let's be real, it doesn't. But Extreme Rules, you're supposed to be getting, you know, like all of these different
variety.
Like, cool, man, I even missed the eye for an eye match.
Bring it back. You heard it here
Bring
first.
back the eye for an eye match. Come on. Do it with Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss could do her spooky powers and take those eyeballs out. God, can you? But for reals though, like we don't have like any of like, and that's the point. Like that's like the part of the reason. Like if you're looking at Extreme Rules, you're thinking to yourself like, all right, cool. Like I want to see some like weapons and you know all of that stuff go down. That's what you want to see for the pay-per-view. So I do hope that they add these stuff, and I'm sure they will. Especially because people are talking about it on social media, the lack of, you know, Extreme Rules matches, etc. So don't be surprised if after this post show, if you're watching it, that they will obviously add some stipulations. But so, where were we at? Okay, we're talking about, so definitely for the Usos retaining, correct?
I think so. I think it has to be just because the bloodline is marching on, and knowing WWE, there's probably another match here, a rematch down the road. But yeah, I just think keeping it on the Usos makes sense at the moment. I can't even actually see in my foresight right now who will be the ones to dethrone them. Knowing WWE, it will just be like a throwaway loss somewhere down the road. But hopefully it would mean something. But it's probably asking too much. I think it will tie in with whoever dethrones Roman as well. I don't know.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay. I definitely got to go with the Usos. I do definitely think that it just makes more sense for them to win. I do think that this is probably going to be one of the best matches of the night, though, because we know what both of these teams can do. But another match that I personally am really looking forward to, here we go for the United States Championship. Damian Priest is defending his title in a triple threat match against Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. And I really hope they add a stipulation to this one, because with the guys in this match, you know that you can have a really fun match there. So, Alex, do you think that Damian Priest will be retaining? Send in your thoughts. And also, what do you think about them adding Jeff Hardy to this?
I love Jeff Hardy, Denise. I hope this is public knowledge for everybody.
Doesn't?
Exactly. I'm moaning every week like, oh, Jeff. And I'm happy to see him score a couple of wins. He has done in the last few weeks. So I'm all for it. I mean, I'm under no illusions. I sincerely doubt it's like a renaissance where Jeff's going to take the title or anything, but it is an interesting addition and one that I would personally enjoy watching. I do think, though, keep the Damian Priest train rolling. Of course you have to. He's been great. I'm delighted to see a fresh face on Raw doing some cool things. I think Damian Priest is cool, full stop. And there's no need to put it back on Sheamus. So let Damian Priest continue on, I say.
You know what I'm getting? And I was kind of thinking about this as I was like preparing for this show and like getting the images and all of that. I started thinking to myself, I feel like a lot of matches on this card, I don't want to say like, I feel like a lot of the people that I think are going to win are the ones that like are the champions. Like I don't expect very many title changes on this show. Like I feel a lot of these kind of feel very, very predictable where like, I'm like, okay, I know for a fact Damian Priest is going to win. And if he doesn't win, that's not going to be a good thing because like, it looks to me like they're actually pushing him. And it was the same thing, right? We just finished talking about the SmackDown titles. If I feel very confident that, you know, the Usos are going to walk out, you know, still champion. So it's like, I kind of have that feeling for a lot of these matches. Do you kind of feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I don't have the stats to hand. Maybe we need Brandon Thurston or something. I don't know. But I feel like outside of the big four, probably five, if you count Money in the Bank, the rest of the pay-per-views, this is typically the trend that happens, right? Like you don't see that many title changes, particularly like the world titles outside of those big pay-per-views. So often you get these kind of, I don't want to call them placeholder pay-per-views, but they're like cogs on the way to something else. And with the draft coming up and stuff, I don't see them shaking too much up. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. Like Finn Balor is not the long-term rival for Roman Reigns. Like we know this, right? I'm going to enjoy it. I'll enjoy seeing Finn Balor fight Roman Reigns, but we all know that that's not the destination of Roman Reigns, right?
Right.
And I think, you know, even Charlotte Flair just picking up the title now and, you know, where she's rolling on to. And Becky, I know we're going to talk about it in a minute, but realistically, like, are they just going to blow it off in this match and Bianca wins it back and that's that? Probably not. So, like, again, you have to kind of, I look at a lot of the matches and I think I'm going to enjoy this, but the chances of me being surprised are very low.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. And I kind of already felt that way. But again, today, as I was going through the matches, it kind of really like hit me in a different way. But I do definitely agree here. I think that, adding Jeff Hardy to this match definitely made it much more interesting because, I mean, we've seen Damian Priest versus Sheamus about a zillion times. And, I just think that, having part of building Damian Priest, because they really got something there with him. And I'm such a big fan of his. So adding Jeff Hardy to this match, I think, is only going to make that win for Damian Priest even feel much more special. And yeah, I'm very confident that he's going to continue, that he's going to walk out as United States champion once again.
Also, another interesting wrinkle on that is that Damian Priest has already said how much he was a fan of Jeff Hardy and that it means to him to face him. He said that on Raw the other week. So that's just another interesting wrinkle too, where it's Sheamus is his rival, but Jeff was his, kind of idol at one point. So it's a nice layer into the match that, the significance and can add to what they do in there. I'm all for it.
Amazing. All right, we're going to go ahead and jump into the next match. So here we go. This next one, which I kind of feel, and you just said it, feels sort of predictable as well. But we got the SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. Becky Lynch, the man, versus Bianca Belair. And I mean, this was such a controversial loss. The way that Bianca Belair lost the title at SummerSlam was very, very controversial. It was not ideal whatsoever and undid a lot of what they had built with Bianca Belair. Thoughts on this? What do you think? And I know you kind of already said it, but I think it's we're feeling very confident that Becky Lynch is going to retain today.
We are, Denise.
At Extreme Rules, not today.
I think, you just said it there. I still look at the SummerSlam incident and what we've got coming out of it with Becky Lynch. I understand. Although she goes mad if you call her a heel, she clearly is. And I know what WWE were aiming for and what they're trying to do. And I guess that makes it kind of more palatable, but I still think it was a bad decision. You could have done it a million different ways. And everything that Bayley and Sasha Banks did with Bianca Belair this year, the Royal Rumble win, to me, she really actually arrived as a main eventer. Sometimes you make someone your champion in their first reign and it's kind of like, the title is trying to make them, or, they're trying to kind of ascend to something else. When I saw Bianca Belair coming out kind of prior to SummerSlam, I felt like she was the real deal. Like she was a real champion. And that loss was just lame. And I think, I watched them on Raw. They were the main event of the live event. Sorry, not Raw, the Monday show that I went to. And Becky won via cheating. Many people in the WWE tour that have been there. Gary Cassidy went to the one in Glasgow last night as well. And they believe that that's kind of what might be the way they go Sunday. I wouldn't be surprised.
Actual match?
Really good. I thought it was really good. They have great chemistry. And Becky, for someone who's been out for so long, she's flying. Great condition as well. Even though in her interview, she was like, I haven't really done anything different at all. But she is. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to be a good match, but it's just going to set the table for the long road for where Bianca Belair will eventually, you assume, get the win back and avenge her defeat. I say you assume because I assumed Rhea Ripley was going to do that on Charlotte Flair, and I would be wrong. But I think in this instance, Becky actually is kind of committed to making Bianca. She strikes me as that type anyway. So I think it's going to be a good match. I think there's going to be some more confirmation, some solidation that Becky is a heel and she's going to cheat to win.
I think so too. I'm going to read a couple of the predictions here because I'll just say this really quickly. I don't think that as much as I want to see Bianca, champion again, the thing is because of the events that occurred at SummerSlam, I would kind of be irritated if they did that to her, for her just to win it back right away. It doesn't make sense for them to do that. So because of the way that she lost, you want her to essentially get her revenge, right? But it's just you don't want to see the belt belt be passed around like that. Like, you made the decision, Becky's champion now let's see it through until, eventually they decide, what's next. Eventually, Bianca has to get her revenge. I just don't think it's going to be tonight. And we have a prediction here from Draws Walker 9, who says big time Becky is going to retain, but not clean. And Joseph Boza is asking, what stipulation does Becky and Bianca get? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think would be like a good stipulation for this?
Oh God. I mean, if it'd been like, say this was Banks versus Belair, I would have been sure it would have been like, you can't use your hair match or something stupid. But I don't know with this, because they haven't really built enough history to kind of go, oh, well, it's going to be a table match.
You can say anything. You can be like kendo stick, ladder match, Hell in a Cell. You can really just say anything, because they haven't necessarily pointed us in a certain direction.
I mean, the story was that Bianca Belair wasn't ready, right? That's the main story. Becky is saying, well, it's not my fault that I took the opportunity to win the title the easiest and best way that I could. So I guess like if there was a stipulation that Becky got to choose, it would be like a bit like Ziggler with McIntyre last year. It's like, okay, you don't know what it is until the night, so she could surprise her again. Right. That's the only way. That's the only way I would get the story, but I don't think they will do that. I just think it's going to be a match. It almost feels like
too late, huh? I don't know.
It is.
Bonkers IFC Street Fight. That would be like the easiest way to go about it. We also have a super chat from Chris Ludek. Thank you so much to Chris, who says, great point, Alex. I think the money is in Bianca chasing the belt from a heel Becky. Also, I agree, Denise, if Bianca wins, it'll make SummerSlam pointless. Here we go. We're making points, Alex.
He's right. That's right, though. Because, like, I mean, where, Denise, where would you see Bianca winning it? How long? Because you could do like all the way
you're
to the
asking
Rumble
the wrong person, Alex. You are asking the wrong person, and I'm going to tell you why. I have said this about a zillion times. I sound like a broken record at this point, but I'm a sucker for long title reigns. Like a sucker. Like it's one of those things that just, it's one of my, I don't know, I don't even want to call it a guilty pleasure, but it's one of those things that I really enjoy, That's something that I love to see. So now that you decided to go this way with Becky, I'm expecting a nice little chunk of time until we actually see, Bianca getting it back. Like you just said right now, the chase. Oh, I love the chase. Let's do it.
You know what annoys me as well? Is when WWE do a new character or a heel turn or whatever, and then they, like, what would that do for Becky's heel character if she was to lose it straight away?
Exactly.
Like the character's lost all momentum straight away. Like I remember they turned, I want to say it was Carmella to face Sasha, maybe last year after Bailey. Could be wrong. I feel like that's what happened. And I don't even remember when they brought up Lacey Evans to face Becky, be one of her challengers, and then she lost like 3 times in a row. I was like, where the hell did you go from here? Exactly. Like, and this is what I mean. Like, if you're going to establish a new character, which Becky is in this iteration, got to go with them.
But see, for me, like even right now that Becky as, a heel character, it still feels like she's going against the grain. Like I still haven't necessarily been sold on this heel Becky Lynch. How do you feel about it? Are you liking it so far? Do you wish you would have stuck with the babyface route?
I don't like the way they did it, right? Like, I still feel like now they're kind of almost going, oh, but that's okay because we're doing this, but it's not. It still doesn't justify a bad booking decision. And it's the wrong kind of heat where people were more upset about what they did to Bianca than, I don't know. But for me, I do think Becky can pull it off. I do think she's got the charisma, and I like this kind of big time Bex persona because that's kind of what she is to the women's division, right? She's the biggest star they have. I don't think that's disputable. So why not kind of lean into that and be like, I was away and I'm coming back, and now look at me, I'm on top again already. I think that's all fine. It's just where you go from here and letting her flesh that out. Because I will say this, I loved her as a babyface, but would you say, Denise, that before she went away with the pregnancy, she'd kind of beaten everyone? Everyone was getting a bit stale with Becky. Like
there wasn't very many options.
No, it was kind of like, man, what else can babyface Becky do at this point, especially after they got rid of Shayna Baszler? So yeah, I think why not? Let's try it on for a while.
And I feel like obviously that's something that we're seeing a lot of champions run into, where it's like you can say the same thing. You could have said the same thing about Bobby Lashley when he was champion, maybe to a lesser extent, but same thing too with Roman Reigns. You could say that when Bianca was champion, and that's the thing. They just need to keep building, again, more credible challengers for these champions. And that's, the issue that I would say Becky was also in as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I concur. And I guess that's part of the charm of AEW, is that they have this like long list that of like never ending matchups. You go, oh, and he could do this guy and he could do this guy. But the brand split always puts us in that weird position where it's like, well, there's, it's about 4 or 5 deep. And then you're starting to go, what now? Like, we're going to have to get someone up or move it around. And, like, I felt for Bobby in a way. Like, AJ Styles was stuck in a tag team while he was champion. And that would have been an easy great feud to do. But again, you didn't get it.
So we're going to go ahead, and we only got 2 more matches. Let's get into this one. Here we go. We got Charlotte Flair, Raw Women's Champion, defending against the very spooky Alexa Bliss.
Like my Scott Hall. Ooh. Yeah. I mean, Uncle Dave said the people hated this, Denise, didn't he?
Oh, I saw the Twitter drama on that. Alex, I should rephrase my question. I've been asking you, do you think this person's going to walk out as champion? Do you think this person's going to retain the bout? I'm going to rephrase this one. Do you think Lily is going to be Raw Women's Champion? She represents Alexa Bliss. They're a thing. If Alexa Bliss wins, you can technically argue that so did Lily.
Oh God. You're trying your best and I love it. I mean, do you know what? Out of all of them that we're going like, they're pretty much open and shut cases. This is maybe the only one where I'll leave myself open a bit like, you know what? Maybe Charlotte would lose it. And I wouldn't like that. I'll tell you why. Because Charlotte is dying for a long title reign. Like, gagging for it. I don't know what the combined... That's a term.
Gagging was the right word, Alex. You're from the UK.
For it. Listen.
I think it means something different in the UK and the US.
I mean, gagging for... I don't want to, like, get into semantics of gagging. But...
What? Begging for it, yearning for it, desperate for it, clamoring.
Listen,
Let's pull up a thesaurus.
I am going to put this on Twitter later and say, is this okay to say that Charlotte Flair is gagging for a long title run? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh no, it probably wouldn't be. People would be like, WTF, Alex, what are you saying?
I think I'll be cancelled.
You'll be cancelled.
This is the only one where I'm like, I could see it though, because Charlotte just doesn't have those long reigns. Like, for whatever reason, WWE are like obsessed with her just having multiple reigns. We know what the reason is. But what's she on now? Because they keep changing it. 13? 12?
She's at 12. Yeah, 12.
They took away the 2 NXT for some reason.
We should know this, Alex. What does this say that we don't know this?
Thanks for watching, guys. Me guess title reigns. But I just think that Bliss and her character, I actually thought Monday segment, I was pretty entertained, to be honest. It could be, she's plausible to take it from Charlotte, put it that way. If it happened, I wouldn't be like stunned. I'd be like, oh. But at the same time, for my personal opinion, Charlotte really needs a good run, because what will it mean when she's champion moving forward, Denise? Do you know what I mean? When someone beats her, it's going to mean less and less. Like, already people are kind of like, I still think Rhea Ripley should have got some definite revenge, and now she's off in a tag team with Nikki Ash and ASH. I think Charlotte needs it, and I don't know who the eventual person that would take it off a long reign, but seriously, let her ride it to Mania. And for those of you that are like, oh no, Charlotte Flair, I'm so bored of her in the main event. All those people, like, just watch what she did in like the triple threat at the pay-per-view the other month, and she still absolutely kills every time.
She doesn't get the credit that she deserves, and it's very, very clear. It's very, very clear. Like, you have no idea. Like, I mean, obviously you do, but like the craziness that people will blame Charlotte for everything and anything, and I'm like, all right, y'all need to chill. Like, y'all really need to chill. Okay, like, that's it. Okay, but I do want to say something here. So their the Alexa's Playground segment that they did on Raw this past Monday, I thought was phenomenal.
Very good.
Phenomenal. And I was thinking about like who is going to win this match. I feel like out of a lot of the matches on today's card, this one could really go either way. However, I do think that we're going to have Charlotte Flair winning. And the reason for that is if you go back and you recall some of the things that were said during Alexa's Playground, Charlotte Flair basically starts pointing, throwing jabs at Alexa for essentially not being the same Alexa that she was before, not being the legitimate competitor that she was before, etc. So I almost feel like maybe that is going to be something that when they eventually decide, and I don't know if they are because they obviously have invested a lot of time in this new Alexa character, but when they do decide to maybe shift her back to what she was before, the little Miss Bliss, and all of that, this could be like something that you can say is the catalyst for she wasn't winning titles. Okay, so let's, this wasn't working. So let's, have her go back to, what she was before. But then at the same time, it's like you put all this investment into this Alexa Bliss, you have her merchandise, you got the Lily doll being sold, etc. So it's like, if you make her champion right now, it's like you're essentially, I don't know if you want to say capitalizing on your time and investment in her. I don't know what the right word is, but you can see like this is the one where I feel it could go either way. I'm leaning more towards the direction of Charlotte Flair, but I would not be surprised if they have Alexa Bliss winning this.
I think you're onto something with the merchandise and the popularity of the character. I mean,
although Charlie was more over than Lily, if you recall on Raw, which is kind of crazy, but that's what I got from it.
I mean, it's a sample of the market. I don't know. I do take your point though. I think that's a very good point. If you wanted the best way, not just the easiest way, to get Alexa Bliss back, that is it. And I thought the promos were expertly done in that manner. And you have to ask yourself why they said those things in the promos and where they want to go with it. It's either that or Alexa Bliss shuts up Charlotte Flair and wins the title. Like that's it, really.
Right.
But
right.
I would, if I had to bet, if I was like forced to, I would go Charlotte.
Yeah, same. And we got people predicting here some stipulations. Get ready for this, Alex. Bonkers LFC says doll on a pole match. I'm going to say no because Charlotte hates Charlie. So why would she want to grab her from a pole?
Yeah, that's that, really. I don't need to elaborate on doll on a pole.
We also have a playground match. Oh, that would not be. Oh, God, no. I'm not for the playground stuff because it kind of makes me uncomfortable.
Wouldn't that just be like a street fight? You know how like at Christmas they go miracle on
slide. You're hitting her with a swing. You're hitting her with a slide. Maybe trying to choke her in the sandbox.
Giving her wedgies and stuff. Yeah, I could see it. I could.
Oh my God. All right. Oh, dear Lord. Here we go. Let's jump into the last match here. Before we do, guys, just a friendly reminder, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe. I'm like so close to 50K. It's killing me. I'm like, what can I do? I don't know what to do. I'm like 700-ish subscribers away from hitting that 50K mark. Alex, I'm feeling desperate. Here. Like when you're so close.
Yeah, but your meteoric rise, right? That's what I'm calling it. Over the past year, your Twitter follows have gone ridiculous. Your YouTube is skyrocketing. You're going to make it. I've said it right now. It's going to happen.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. I'm happy to have someone rooting for me.
Speaking into existence. There you go.
Someone says that would be a bit corny. The sandbox brawl. Oh, dear Lord. All right, here we go. Let's get into this next match. The main event, I'm pretty sure this is main eventing. Duh.
Look at Finn.
Right, exactly. Universal Champion Roman Reigns against the Demon Finn Balor. So, do you think this is it? Do you think that Roman Reigns is officially losing this title and that this is the Demon's time to become Universal Champion?
Nope.
No. Okay. Okay.
No, I you know what? I think it's funny because when Finn Balor went back to NXT and he did the interviews, one of the main things that he said, Denise, was, I really hated doing the Demon so much, right? He goes, I felt like WWE lent on it too much. It was a bit of a crutch. The first big feud he gets back on the main roster after not using the Demon in NXT. They're like, you know what, Finn? Why don't you get the paint back out, bro? And I feel like I understand, because I feel like they just want to give Roman another mega win. I know that they've given Roman everything this year, and quite rightly so, because he's great. But this is all just to put Roman over once more, because we all know Roman's going on to face Brock at Saudi Arabia. We know this. They've already announced it, and they were kind of gone, oh, you know, if he beats Finn Balor, come on. So Roman and Brock is obviously the direction. I think this is going to be cool, and there's a lot of cool things a Demon could do, I guess, within a match if they wanted to. But I'm not holding out hope that Finn Balor is going to snag the title from Roman Reigns, nor should he. I think Roman has to... I still believe he's going to roll all the way into The Rock, but who knows?
We have people torn here, but BTW, I want to thank the beauty for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much. We got people here basically saying, let's see what we got. We got Joseph saying the Demon wins. We got Jim saying Roman wins. We got Sumit saying that Roman will win as well. We got it's Phil Real to me, who says, I'd love a shock and Finn win, but it's not going to happen. Let's see. I'm going to go through a couple more comments here. David also believes that Roman will win. Bonkers Roman as well. I feel like I really, really do think that it's going to be Roman Reigns. As much as I love Finn, as much as I love the Demon, etc., I think that it is the right call to have Roman Reigns win still. Like, that's just it. Like, it doesn't feel like, I've been saying this like over and over, but I think when a time comes for Roman Reigns to actually lose, I think it'll feel very, very clear to everybody, and it'll feel very obvious, and people will be clamoring for it for whoever that person may be. But I do not think that it's Finn Balor.
I don't think it's Finn Balor either. I'm just thinking off the top of my head now, who is it going to be? And it might not be. I don't think
it's anybody that right now that we know. I don't think it's clear and obvious right now, which is, I don't know if that's not a good thing. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
You think WWE are just booking him strong until, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
until like
I think so
it manifests itself. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would have said Big E, and I guess depending on how this title run goes, I don't know. Maybe they'll figure that out. But you know, I think I'm very happy he's doing what he's doing. But then after that, it's a bit like, I know WWE think him and Drew have got insane chemistry, but
I think
I'm going to hurt myself
like
saying
Drew
this.
has kind of like been there, done that though.
Yes, and also again, this feels horrible to say, but would it be anticlimactic for Drew to be the guy to dethrone Roman? Like, what after like an incredible run like this, it has to be like it's the making of someone. Do you know what I mean?
Nope. And you want to know why? As much as I love Drew McIntyre and all of that, they did a lot to essentially take away a lot of the cool factor that he had. They did a lot on that on Raw. You know, the whole history thing, you know, him having matches with Shanky and Veer, like that isn't going to get anybody over. Okay. And so he lost a lot of that edge that he had, and they got to do a lot of rebuilding to do that. And I almost feel like whenever they do decide to take the title off of Roman Reigns, I think it's got to be for somebody that they truly believe is going to be the next top star in WWE. Not even just the top star, but the next face of the company. And if you're building up Roman this strong, and when you're building up Roman this strong, you can't just waste it on just anybody.
Braun Breaker.
That's the person that right now, only right now in this time period, I would say, yeah, I could see it being Braun Breaker. He's the only person where I'm like, all right, if I'm going to throw a name out there, it's my safest bet feels Braun Breaker.
He's got it. He could turn up on Raw tomorrow and everyone will be like, who is that guy? Do you know what I mean? He's got that factor, like that Brock Lesnar instant factor where you're like, oh, Jesus. And a year from now, who knows how far he's going to have come along. So I could see it.
Although we got people saying no. It just depends. Obviously, no one's ever going to be, you know, fully happy with the decisions. There's always going to be different opinions, which is fine. But yeah, I think we definitely feel confident that Roman is still walking out champion. Alrighty, everyone. So there you go. That was the prediction show for Extreme Rules. I'm pretty sure stipulations will be added probably after we've already shot this. I'm going to be so mad if I go on Twitter right now and all of a sudden they're like, stipulation added for this match. I mean, damn it. That always happens. There's always changes after I do these prediction shows. But anyways, Alex, I want to thank you so much for joining me. As always, you're really cool. You automatically said yes, and we got this going. Before we go, please let the people know where they can follow you and all of that's good stuff.
For sure. It's Alex M_TalkSport. Yeah, you know me. I stay busy on Twitter. If you do follow me, just spouting random wrestling garbage every day and news. But also, like this week, like I was saying to Denise before I come on, I'm doing the Anthony Joshua stuff. And then there's UFC stuff coming up too. So there's a nice spread for you. But the interviews, if you want to see them visually, inside the ropes, of course, my YouTube channel is Wrestling Daily, and which Denise has been a guest on, by the way. Yes. And also moving forward, you can find my written work every week. There's interviews pretty much at talksport.com/wrestling. So any way you like it, got you covered. And a Talk Wrestling podcast. God, I forget my stuff.
You just got so much going on, Alex. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this show. Guys, please make sure to give Alex some love. Go follow him. Show him some love. He's very, very active. So make sure you guys, again, go show him some love. And as for me, Twitter and Instagram @ Denise Salcedo. Please do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Drop this video a like. And I will see you on Sunday to talk about Extreme Rules over on Fightful, where that's what we'll be doing the post show. Until next time, this is Denise. This is Alex. We'll see you guys later. Bye.